When I first moved to London and I would walk by this building every day, I was scared of it. It was quite ominous, and they would film a lot of crime scene dramas in here, and so I had this kind of perception of the building, and I never thought I would live here. But I came to look at a flat here when I was looking for a flat 3 years ago, and I walked in the door and immediately I knew that I wanted to be in this flat. I'm originally from the States, from California, and I moved over to the UK in 2004, 12 years ago, and I came here to work for Zaha Hadid, and I worked there for 8 years, and 4 years ago I started my own practice. We're based here in East London. We're called Phase 3. It's called Sevill House. It's by an architect called Lubetkin, Bertold Lubetkin. It was built in 1964. It's a 20-story tower in East London, Shoreditch. Well, Lubetkin was working on a variety of housing projects after the war. He came here in the late 20s. He was very much a kind of egalitarian coming from the Soviet Union and embodied a lot of the ideas in this building that he would even at a high-end building. So you'll find shared public spaces which are designed to a high level, even though it's public housing. A lot of the projects you'll see are very basic in their design. The facades are just simply the kind of horizontal slab with a brick infill and some windows. So what we'll see on the outside is that he actually tried taking those ideas that were going on in a lot of the other public housing developments, but tried to play with them. So for instance, he plays with the facade to create a bit of difference. Yeah, so there's a series of precast elements that are inserted into the brick facade, and what he does is kind of plays a game with these C shapes and then does a lot of variations. In the division of space, so basically when you come into the building, there's a kind of circular staircase that goes from top to bottom, which is actually kind of the heart of the building. In the front, there's 2-bedroom flats, which are at the front of the building, and then at the back of the building are 1-bedroom flats. And they're separated into 2 different towers with a core that links the 2 towers. So right now we're in the 1-bedroom flat area, and what he does is he actually puts the 1-bedrooms back to back, and they have a shared kitchen. But I never hear any noise from the neighbors because it's this kind of service wall, and so the public spaces are actually quite separated. The kitchen is quite simply designed, it's just simple plywood, painted. But I really enjoy it because it's just exactly what you need. Everything's designed in. There's the right amount of cupboards. There's the right amount of the boiler's hidden, all this kind of stuff. So it's quite well done, and it creates a lot of work surfaces as well. It's all in plywood, which isn't the most functional, but actually it's quite beautiful to look at. So, well, I think something that's been going on in some of our projects for quite a while, and it's something that I can't tell if it's inspired by the building or if I'm drawn to the building for the same reason, but we look a lot at facades in a lot of our projects, so trying to create interesting facades that kind of address the public, because people are looking at these buildings all the time, and I think it's important to create something beautiful for the city, and so we put a lot of effort into that. So I think the way that he deals with these facades and these kind of C shapes and creating an interesting pattern on the facade is important for the city, and I think it's something that comes back into our work. I mean, I've always believed in designing things to a very high level, but I think it helps me see another reason behind it by living within it, because I think that experiencing that on the everyday is important for people. So, for instance, in the building we're doing, what would typically be the back of house fire stair, we're integrating it into the whole project, because actually having a natural light within that space means that people might actually use the staircase more often, and just taking it to another high level of design ensures that. Something I think is so positive about the UK is that kind of integration of different social classes. which we just don't get. And it's something that the UK needs to hold on to, I think, quite preciously. And it's something that I find is a kind of little microcosm within this building, because we have this kind of mixed group of people, mixed demographics living here, which I find really interesting. Like, I love being confronted with different types of people all day long in the lift. So yeah, I mean, there are obviously a lot of architects living in here and designers, but also, like, you know, it's still half social housing. So it's a really nice, I think it's something to be kind of cherished.